Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We have, of course, that first best of 3 on screen was done. We can see TheOddOne has now joined the game. He has, in fact, made it to New Jersey, to Atlantic City, into the hotel and all that. And we are getting the last 2 from Team Solomid into the pregame, and then we're going to be good to go pretty shortly. So we just saw CLG take a 2-0 over Goose. Now we have Team Solomid and Complexity going to be taking that third quarterfinal match of the day. And, the favorite is Team Solomid here. We had CLG on screen a second ago, and they were talking about how, their big rivals for the tournament are Team Solomid. These are 2 of the most historic North American teams. They've been around for over a year each now. And they're the really big, scary ones of the North American scene. They're always the elephant in the room. You had them talk about Rock Solid, now Dignitas just a little while ago. They are missing one of their players. One of the things about this tournament, for those who are kind of looking at the lineups, is being in a casino and all that, all the players need to be 18 or older. And Voyboy, for one of the examples, one of the Dignitas players, is actually too young to actually compete in the tournament. So they've actually replaced Voyboy specifically with Lucicero. But of course, that's not in this game, so we'll kind of touch on that later. But Team Solomid and Complexity, I believe, have brought their full lineups here. TSM, of course, that scare a little while ago with TheOddOne, have managed to bring him in, so they're okay. Yeah, and then we'll be good to go pretty soon.
I've actually heard a lot that people are saying the Rock Solid now Dignitas team is the one to watch out for. Is their play is always 3 steps ahead. They're coming up with new things in the game, and they're really just creating ideas and ways to play. And we're gonna have to see what they can pull out in this game. As we saw before, you kind of pointed a touchdown the Kog'Meow and Morgana, how they would dark bind and then just artillery, and situations like an Akali and a Lee Sin and the double jump in. So the things that they're utilizing like that and then taking to the next level is absolutely awesome. And another awesome thing is teams like VA and Goose and seeing new teams come to fruition in the League of Legends community. Because as you said, we usually just see the TSMs and the CLGs, but it's awesome to see that all these players are coming out into the professional area of play in League of Legends and just now see it grow. So we'll have to see if some of those new teams can really make a name for themselves here this weekend.
Yeah, and I think there's a good chance here. We did see Goose come out pretty strong in those games. Ultimately, when CLG got that second game lineup, it was super, super powerful, and they played so incredibly well with that second game. But the first one, we saw the individual skill of Goose come out. They won most of their lanes.
Yeah.
Vayne out CS'd Ashe. They got the first blood top. Mid player did really well. They got some of those ganks off, and they got ahead. They got the first dragon, all that fun stuff. But it was the coordination of the sort of the storied teams, because they've played together so well. They've gotten themselves into these great situations by getting better team play. But Complexity is a team that has been together for a while. Goose, a little bit lesser known. Complexity's been around for quite a while as well, so they have really a good chance to show their teamwork as well. They've never been that big threat that everyone was afraid of, but they've always come close. They've always had some good games against these top-tier North American teams, and they have a really good chance at really making this happen. It's just kind of on. Will they play their lanes right? Will they get those good fights? League of Legends is a game where you can get ahead, and if you do it right, you can stay ahead. It's hard to do sometimes. You don't have, a guaranteed win just from getting first blood, but these are guys who can definitely do really well if they do it right, and they can stay in that advantage, and they're going to really hope for this.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can do. Pop him out. And we'll have these guys joining up here. TSM just got Chaox in the game, TheOddOne, Xpecial, and Reginald, as you see on the screen. RicePanda, IWillDominate. Shales, Yuhn, and Nubbypoohbear, Complexity all in and ready to go, probably discussing with themselves, what the deal is, what's going on. A lot of these times, they know they're going into 3 games, and it's never one of those, oh, it's over, let's GG, kind of like sometimes you'll see in StarCraft, the mentality of the player is I want to just get to the next game. This is too far beyond, but we'll have to see what these guys can really do. It's not what you see in League of Legends, so these guys are going to go all out until the end. Like we said, Complexity, they've done well. They kind of falter here and there, so there's definitely really nice for them to prove themselves here coming out into the first match of the day against TSM. Usually a team's match is always their first and strongest, and you'll have to see sometimes they get complacent, and then their next games will be a little bit falter. They kind of come up slow, but we'll have to see if Complexity can continue to do and play their strongest game, because TSM always comes out strong in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's very hard to take a turret from TSM. They have amazing lane control. We even saw in the CLG games just now, 30 minutes was about the average that they were losing turrets at, and they were taking it 19. So you can't have that kind of variation in the gameplay, and we're going to have to see if Complexity can push down the door of TSM and grab that first turret as well as first blood for the advantage.
Yeah, they're certainly going to try to. We're just waiting on TheRainMan to join the game right now. He was actually the original host of the game, then he kind of disappeared off the face of the planet. So I'm not quite sure where he went. He's, of course, another room way behind me. So hoping that we can get the rest of those players in. As soon as he does join in, we should go. Actually, can you type to them? My keyboard seems to have changed languages, so I can no longer actually talk to anyone right now. But hopefully it'll be fine. Otherwise, But yeah, they're basically saying, where's RainMan? Trying to get this guy in here. We're just waiting for that last player from Team Solomid. When he joins in, we're good to go. The second he joins, hit that start button. We're going to get our game underway. So
anything targeted we're going to see in the beginning here?
Anything targeted?
TSM and complexity of main players that one of the teams does not want to see on this field.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably see Zilean getting kicked out.
That's
pretty likely
Reginald,
here.
Yep.
Yeah, Team Solomid really loves that Zilean pick. RainMan's known for a couple of different champions. He's sort of most famous for playing Teemo. He's not a champion that fits into all the lineups.
Teemo.
Yeah, Frozen Mallet, Madras Blood Razer Teemo. Apparently OddOne's trying to get him in there, but yeah, it's not a champion that you sort of pick for all the lineups. It's not, you've got to base it around certain things. Like we saw with the CLG game, both games Nidalee was not banned, but they went for the Galio pick the first time. Nidalee was more of a strategic choice for certain things. So even if you're known for a champion, you've still got to play to certain compositions. You can't just oh, well, I like this guy, so there I go. I'm going to pick that guy. You do want to pick lineups. This is a very high level of skill. So he's good to go. Let's get them to start the draft up, and we're going to get the first game picks and bans underway. We do have all 10 players in. Going to make sure that they're good to go. GL comes out, and just going to sort of warm my hands up and wait for them to click that little start button.
Indeed, we are going to get the picks and bans underway here. It looks like Reginald will be banning first, then to Complexity's ban, and back and forth until we have 6. And we'll have to see. That first pick is really a signifier of what the team could be doing. If it's a jungler, then you can kind of, you don't really get too much information. They wanted to get that pick out there fast. So we'll have to see. If it's not a jungler, we'll be able to see a lot more about what the composition is going to be. We see a Caitlyn and a Zilean both going out. As we said, that would be targeted for Reginald on Zilean, and they do not want to give away Caitlyn. It's just overall, a character you would like to ban. The poke, the range, the ultimate, it's something you can do without.
Yeah, and now we're kind of looking at sort of the players, what they like to play. I really like TSM's bans because they're pointing out all these sort of ranged AD champions, and they're sort of leaving in the ones that Chaox likes to play. Chaox is Team Solomid's ranged AD player, and I see him most often on Vayne and Corki. And so they're sort of banning all the ones that aren't those champions, basically. They're like, yeah, let's get rid of Kate, get rid of Kog'Meow. There's the Galio ban, it's a really smart one. They don't want to deal with that. And wow, the York
quick
ban.
York, that was quick.
And we saw York being picked by Epic Gaming against V8 at the very beginning of the day, and then we saw York banned immediately from there. So there's the rush for Udyr. That could be solo top RainMan, or that could be jungle TheOddOne. Udyr really is very... he can kind of go both ways there, so we'll kind of see how that pans out. But it's Complexity's choices here. RicePanda and IWillDominate going to sort of grab the champions for their team. And I mean, it could go for a mage right here. Zilean, of course, was banned, but the rest of the mages are in, so you might see Cassiopeia. Gangplank, again, actually can go in any of the lanes as well. Yep. He can play ranged AD carry. He can play support. We've actually seen support Gangplank a few times. And he's a strong jungler, so he can kind of mesh into any lineup, and he's especially strong with that big team buff. His raised morale ability will give his team some nice movement and attack, and we'll see how that pans out. But the first support picked up is actually Soraka, so I feel like that's actually aimed at something where they're sort of picking it might just be a reserved support pick, and they're going to try to counterpick everywhere else. That actually might be the choice here. So you're going to kind of see how this pans out.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely different. The composition doesn't really tell us much. It could be, Soraka and Gangplank bottom, but at this point, it doesn't seem like that. They're taking a lot of times on their picks, and it seems like they've really thought this one out to either counter or continue to get the build that they want towards Team Solomid. Now, Team Solomid has 2 picks, and I bet you they're kind of just scratching their heads at what they just saw get picked. I mean, they know what they're going to do with those champions in the end, but for what the comp is going to be for the rest of Complexity, Solomid's kind of up in the air right now, but they're going to go ahead and go with just surefire champions, Alistar and the Vayne. Yes, you were correct on that. So their picks actually a little bit quicker, and like I said, they were safe picks. You don't really have to ponder too much about what Complexity just chose.
Yeah, and Xpecial and Xpecial and Chaox both known for these champions. Chaox does like playing that Vayne. He's been playing him a lot, or her, I guess in this case. And then Xpecial also really actually known as the Alistar player. He's probably the best Alistar in North America. And he really kind of brought him up to prominence. We saw Team Fnatic kind of play AP Alistar or Jungle Alistar, but Xpecial's always been that duo bot Alistar player, and it works really, really well. He's extremely strong as that champion. We can see Yuhn picking up Ashe, and there is actually Kennen as well. So this is a pretty pokey team right here. We've got 2 globals there with Soraka and Gangplank's ultimates. We've got Ashe and Kennen, both very pokey champions. We're going to see the last 2 picks here. They don't have a heavy sustain passive, or a heavy sustain right there with the Alistar. He does have a heal, but he's not, stone level sustain right there. But it's going to be Jungle Nocturne most likely for TSM. He's got that one selected right now, so it will be solo top Udyr. It's really melee heavy. They have no poke. They have to really jump in to do the damage. And we're going to see what the mage choice could be. I don't know really. It could be Annie maybe. They've got some good AoE stuns if they go Annie Alistair and then kind of flash in, do a lot of crowd control, and pick apart one of the champions. No, it's going to be Brand.
Nice.
Yeah. Reginald really likes playing Brand. That's a really good choice for him. He's been playing him a lot. So we're kind of seeing him not so much go for a comp necessarily, but for champions that they really enjoy. These are picks that we see a lot.
It's a really deadly lineup. Xpecial's going in, headbutt out whoever he wants to Reginald's bear stance and into Vayne and Brand. Like that's going to be an awesome setup if they can get that rolling. But slicing Maelstrom on top of a Gangplank ulti.
Yeah.
And then, Soraka just be like, who needs the heal? Bam, ultimate. And you're going to have an Astro in there as well. So,
oh,
wow.
Nasus.
Wow.
I mean, Nasus can probably land against Udyr pretty well.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
Yeah, early levels when Udyr is kind of low on mana.
A little sustain from Q.
Yeah, a little bit of sustain. Some good late game beef right there. You said, TSM is a good sort of passive team in that they don't lose turrets for a while.
Right.
So if you're going to let us farm all game, well, let's pick Nasus.
Yeah, that's really true. That was a good pick.
The ultimate solo top farmer. And you can see, he's going to be able to pretty much, one-shot Nocturne to a certain extent. They could really jump on him, do a lot of damage here. If they land that Ash arrow, they have the giant slow from Wither. That's going to do a lot to stop Udyr. It's going to do a lot to stop Vayne. I mean, they have some pretty good crowd control here. I mean, with Wither and then the giant armor buff from Soraka, they could really anti DPS a lot of these champions. They can silence Brand. They can silence Alistair. There's a lot of things they can do. They have good control from this complexity lineup. I totally like it.
Yeah, and there's not too much CC. It's all based off of something that TSM has to produce that scenario to get the CC down. So, on the other team, you have Kennen. You can go in there with the ulti. That does have to hit a few times, but Ashe with the quick arrow, you're instantly slowed by RicePanda's Wither, and it's just, the situation they want to happen. So we'll have to see in that match how many times that Complexity really wins because they were able to get the straggler that was going out of the fight. You know what I mean? That last person to come out of the fight really could be where they get that attack. So we're going to get this jumped back in. After they get all their champions done, we're going to go back in and they're going to choose up quick right back into this game. Solomid and Complexity to go head-to-head. Here's our second stream match of the day. We just had CLG versus Goose. CLG doing a very good job, I think, just showing a little bit more dominance on land, that experience, that feeling. It's not your own environment. It's not your own keyboard unless you brought it and such. So it's definitely different. You're not sitting in your own chair at home with your mom yelling at you.
Yeah, sure enough. But certainly, there's a lot of teams that are just sort of better on land. Other examples, Carlogic Gaming, for example, not the best performers online. They seem to get low seeds in a lot of tournaments where there's a qualifier.
Yes, that's true.
But they do really, really well on land very often. They got second place at IAM China just last weekend. They're doing really well here so far, 2-0ing all the competition they've run across. Looks like we're going to run into a new game with Blind Pick, and we're going to see just what's going to happen there. Jump into that one. Should be a real quick pre-game setup. RainMan actually going to set up his rune page properly this time. Apparently that was the problem for the last one. He did not actually get his rune page set up. And in League of Legends, you have this sort of out-of-game build where you set up runes and masteries and you pick summoner spells. There's a big, healthy game behind the game where you sort of give yourself these advantages. So now that we're going into another best of 3, I think we should kind of reintroduce the game League of Legends for those who don't play necessarily or don't have a real strong grasp. So League of Legends is a 5v5 team-based game in this tournament. We're playing on the map Summoner's Rift. The object of the game is to destroy the enemy nexus. You have 2 bases, top right, bottom left, of course. While you're looking on the camera, I'm, of course, backwards, but to me, this is top right and bottom left. So top right, bottom left, you have these bases, and the goal of the game is to push through and destroy the nexus, the central structure in the base. When you blow up the nexus, the game ends, you win. You blow up the enemy nexus, you win. Along the way, you have minions and turrets and champions that you have to fight. And being a 5-on-5 game, each player chooses a champion, and then these champions do battle, and you have different roles. You have mages and dudes with crossbows who deal a bunch of physical damage, and swordsmen and support champions and junglers and all sorts of different roles. They build a proper sort of team composition, and as a team, you sort of have the ability to initiate a fight or displace enemy champions or crowd control them so they can't do what they want to do. And you sort of have these team compositions that perform roles and they fulfill goals for your team, and if you do it right, you have really good fights and you win against the enemy team. And that's sort of the goal of the team compositions, and you want to win fights, and by building advantages, you can then push through to the enemy base. Some other things in this game is your champions level up over time. They gain gold and experience, so you buy items, you level up, you get skill points, you gain stats. and you get more powerful by performing well. So, you win a fight, not only do you win that fight and allow yourself to push down turrets or kill minions and things like that, but you also power up your own champion. And so, as you perform better, you'll get farther and farther ahead. It allows you to do things like have one guy who's performing really, really well and can kind of take over the game to a certain extent. We've seen that in a couple of different tournament matches, and looks like we will have a game coming on pretty soon. But yeah, you'll have champions like Vayne that Chaox is playing in this game from Team Solomid, who scales really, really, really well into late game. And if Vayne is well pampered, wins a couple of fights, you can actually take games from behind if you're losing. But Vayne's super powerful. Vayne can crush down single targets and kind of go through and start taking over battles. And so sort of the way these team compositions sort of work is you've got sort of 2 in the carry role who are, they're really going to get farmed. They really want to take over the game. You've got 1 to 2 tanks who are going to initiate a fight and really cause these things to go well for them. You've got a support who's going to babysit and make sure that these big, high-value targets are staying alive and are well-positioned and are doing the things that they want. And you've got, just these varying roles of different people doing the things that help their team across. And you've got just very, very, very different sort of setups here. Some really go for disruption, some go for damage output, some go for extreme safety. We saw Counterlogic Gaming against Goose, where they went for a very long-range team. They had a lot of really, really long-range spells where they'd push in from far away and keep doing the best they could and really sort of staying at arm's length and pushing these guys away that way. And that was really powerful for them.
All right, I'm going to add you right fast.
Okay, so real quick, let me go ahead and apparently we did a private game, so. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm on a foreign keyboard. I'm going to have to get an invite to the game, actually.
I am inviting you right now.
Awesome, that is extremely helpful.
Solved.
I accepted. Hopefully it'll let me in. I just realized, that's going to be a difficulty there. when I can't type into the keyboard because it's in foreign language, that's super useful. OddOne's now adding me as a friend. That's going to help. Hopefully I can get Xpecial on there as well. Maybe I actually missed oh, yeah, game invite from Xpecial. There we go. That would have helped the first time around.
It locked down the game.
If I checked. So spectate, and there we go. I'm in.
All right, let's start this game.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I didn't even realize what was going on there. I did not look down at my console and see. I'm getting game invites from the players who are like, "Phreak, where are you? We're trying to start a game," and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm filling time. There's bright lights in my eyes. I can't even see the crowd. There's cool people out here in front of me. You guys are awesome, by the way. Thank you very much, guys, for showing up. You guys.
Yes. Yes.
Crowd participation, very awesome. Thank you guys so much for showing up.
Yes, and the team fights and everything.
It's awesome. Yeah, we are happy to bring you guys these games. And all you guys online as well, thank you guys so much for being here. The guys in the crowd are awesome as well. The players put on a great show. It's always such a huge pleasure to be in these games. That's actually a Rider. We're good.
Oh, I didn't read his name. I was like, all right, let's get this match started when we are ready.
Yep.
You want to give him the go-ahead? Actually, I will.
I can try.
You are foreign languaging.
Some letters will type, but most of them won't.
Started.
Yes, indeed. Get the game started.
All right, so we are going to have the same picks and bans, whatnot, as they did go through. They're not going to be able to switch those up. We are going to have Complexity versus TSM going live, and just after this pick here at the IGN Origins, IGN ProLeague, IPL 3, all of those great things.
Origins.
Yes, exactly. Origins, it is in there.
Yeah.
Syntax and everything.
Yes.
So we are going to have this game. Yeah, picks and bans are going to be going down. As they know from either side, those characters won't be picked. We can see them just locking the champions in, and once we get to the splash screen, we'll be able to see all their choices again and give you the rundown once more on who's really going to be going where. We do have the Udyr, as we've seen in jungle. He's going to be now in the lane, as they do have a Nocturne jungle, and we have seen him playing with through the weekend so far, so we'll have to see how they do with that. Udyr, a very good top, as well as Sustain going against the Nasus. So both of them have a little bit of a Sustain. Udyr can go into Turtle. Nasus's Q provides him a little bit, so we'll have to see how they play that one out.
Yeah, I'm very much excited to see how Nasus plays out. He's not actually a very common tournament pick. We don't see him all that often, but he's such a wonderful champion to see. He kind of goes into beast mode in team fights. That ultimate just kind of buffs him up, makes him just damage everyone around him. And you've got a lot of good synergies there. You've got a lot of possibilities there. Big AoE ultimate champions are always really, really powerful. They're kind of unpredictable because team fights happen and lane battles happen. And they're kind of going back and forth. But you have guys with really good R buttons who just sort of win team fights by pressing R and just sort of beasting into the fight. And those you can't predict always until you see the battle go in, because even then it's like, well, can you kite the Nasus? If you stay out of range, it's kind of melee range. So if you can kite Nasus, his ultimate won't do much to you. But if you cluster up and you get maybe taunted in by Galio or sort of just blocked in there, you can do a lot of crazy things. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to go for him. I mean, he certainly can completely crush or get kited super hard. We're going to see how this ends up playing out. But we're in the last few seconds of Champion Select, and we're going to have the game starting soon. We're going to go into that 1 minute spectator delay to make sure no one's ghosting any streams or anything. That's going to be how spectator works and all that. But there's the lineup. Xpecial is on Alistar, Chaox is on Vayne, Reginald on Brand, TheRainMan, Teleport and Flash on Udyr, TheOddOne going to be jungling. So we talked about Teleport a couple times throughout the night. I say night as though it's like not 3:30 in the afternoon right now. But TheRainMan going to be taking Teleport, going to be that solo top guy, going to stay up there. And then when there's a team fight across the map, he'll just teleport all the way across and then go help his team out. And of course, the same way for Nasus, bringing teleport to himself as well. Shales support on Soraka. Nubbypoohbear going to be, by the way, also an awesome name, but also playing Kennen with Ignite. Going to be Solomid there. Yuhn going to be on Ashe, the support champion. And IWillDominate is going to be the jungler on Gangplank. So we'll see that Lee Sin, I believe, was actually a ban there. And I have a friend, Tournament 25, wants to be my buddy. I'm happy with that one.
I'm so lucky. I didn't get that.
Aw. Maybe he added you. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's see how it is.
Else. Yeah.
Gamers like other gamers.
They just wanted to add me first. I'm just more important than you.
Whatever.
Yeah. Just saying.
All right, here we go. Popping into the game. Let's get the splash screen up. See all these beautiful pictures. Thanks to the artistes. Oh, fantastic. And there we go. Nubbypoohbear on Kennen. I'm excited. I'm not going to lie. Kennen's my main. A little bit of awesomeness there. I'm excited.
He's been in every game.
Yeah, he's like never been used up to his little bit of an AP ratio increase on the queue, and everybody loves to play him now because he does have a good amount of poke and he can facilitate a lot. He's not really that say all do all in a fight, but he does help out a lot. So I love seeing him around, especially as I said because I main him, so it's fun.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So Team Solomid is blue team for the game. They are spawning in the bottom left, and they're going to try to push down up through the base. You're going to see here's the mid lane. You can see the champions running across. There's one of the turrets, there's another turret. And we're just going to kind of show this lane as it goes on. Goes up towards the mid lane, now towards the purple base, purple complexity base. You can see guys off to the side. They're leaving the base. There's another turret, there's an inhibitor, and there is a purple nexus. If this falls, this will be a win for Team Solomid. So awesomeness there. 25 says hi. I'm going to hide that chat. Nice and happy right there. So just the game, no obstructions. TSM milling about.
Good amount of movement here. They could go for the top. They're going to ward that out, so they're going to know if the tri-bush is gankable as they go back to the top lane. That is something the other team will do, but it looks like we are going to have TSM kind of pushing in here. They have a great first, let's see what Udyr got if he is going top lane. He did actually not get his skill yet. Very smart. Does not grab the skill to see if the team fight happened. He would go for bear stance, more stun on the team, but he's going to hold that off, and he's probably going to go for Tiger as he goes into lane. They're making sure that no one is around so everybody can walk back to their lane. A thing that is more common in recent is the team won't really go for the early aggression. They go for an early stand in the bush. It's called like a bushwhack, if you will. And they stand there and wait for the teams, I'm all right. I'm just going to go to my lane. There's no fight. And you walk into a bush with 5 people in it. You live for about half a second. And we actually call it the double lift, but we won't go into that.
Some of them know. I hear laughter in the crowd. Yeah, they know. Season 1 championships, double lift throwing games. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. It's respawn for the golems for Dominate, but he's able to pull that one back into his favor. Sometimes the jungle minions will just start to walk back, and they gain health as they go back to respawn position, but he was able to get that down. Great job. And we are off. TSM looks like they're going in here onto IWillDominate, and he knows. Very great placement by that ward in the beginning, or that would have been first blood.
Yep, so, and we see that actually Udyr's going to solo bottom 1v2. Thankfully, Soraka's not a ton of poke. They are ranged, of course, but, TheRainman's going to really use that turtle shell and keep himself alive. And, of course, TSM does not know that this Alistar is warded, so Nasus is super safe right now. Of course, Udyr's going to try to last hit against these two champions. It's going to be a little bit difficult for him, but he's very good at playing defensively and coming in just for the last hits and getting back out of range. But we see Chaox going to be 1v2ing against this, or 1v1 against the Nasus, and it's going to be the roam Alistar. He's going to come in right now. You see RicePanda backing off. I think at this point he kind of knows Alistar must be warded. And now he's going to sit in the top brush and keep zoning Nasus. This is a really smart play from Solomid. Because that Soraka is not so disruptive because she can only really sustain and poke a little bit. Rayman's pretty safe against this lineup, but meanwhile Chaox and Xpecial can actually bully around this Nasus quite a lot.
You can see RicePanda ping in the top bush. He's like, hey guys, I actually have an Alistar in my lane as well, and he's probably waiting. And he went down to ward as well for himself, so he is going to have that vision, giving that to Vayne as well. Very nice job there. And you did see him sitting in the bush. He kind of didn't get much of what he wanted, so he's going to hang out, at least get level 2 here. And after level 2, if he hasn't really gotten the advantage or the chance to go after RicePanda, you'll see him head out.
Yep, one good thing about Complexity is they can really push on this turret, and they'll probably do a lot of damage here. We want to keep pushing that one. There's a RainMan taking a little bit of damage. Shales surviving against the turret. They really don't want to poke RainMan at his turret because they're not going to get a lot done because of it. I mean, he'll sustain. He'll eventually lose some health, but that turtle shield going to really help him out. Realistically, Ash and Soraka should just kind of plink down this turret, and it'll take a fair amount of damage, you know, 25 to 30 per hit, and eventually that will get worn down, and it seems like that should be the better play. As long as they can ward and see for ganks, they can just do a lot of damage to this turret here. I think that's what Solomid's going to do here. You can see Chaox pushing in with Alistair, and it's just time to go for turret damage. They've got the defensive ward. They'd be pretty safe here. It's just free damage.
And there we go, Xpecial doing what he does, just roaming around, doing his thing, knowing that ward is gone. If that ward was placed in the beginning, he realized he was seen in that position. He was saw, yes. And he knows, you know, the ward has a certain amount of time on it. He felt okay to walk through that bush again. That's all the mentality of Xpecial coming into play right now. And it looks like that lightning rush has been used. That is a key information for Xpecial to go in here. The flash may have to be used, and it is Pooh Bear having to flash out of that situation. Lightning rush was used a little too far out in lane, and that is a signifier for anybody fighting against Kennen that now is my time to punish.
Yep, and now you can see Nass is able to play aggressively again. Look at that Wither coming off, doing a lot of damage to Chaox, actually dropping him down a fair amount of health. Oh. Chaox has no sustain right there, but a nice stun into the wall. RicePanda getting hit pretty hard. He does have that regrowth pendant though, so he's kind of okay to take that harassment and then just kind of go back into the game. So he's now last hitting with that Q, and we can watch. He's got that plus 21. He's got 7 last hits with that ability. So he's getting himself up there ever so slowly. That siphoning strike from Nasus every time he kills a minion with that, or I mean any target with that ability, it'll actually permanently empower it for more damage. So he's going to slowly grow over time. Xpecial coming back into that fight. No ward this time to keep him safe, so he could be in bad shape before too long.
Yeah, he needs to get back into lane, get at least a little bit of experience. And there it is, one down. He's going for the pulverize. Can he get it? The ghost is used. Can they get the condemn against the wall? An awesome roll coming out of the hands of Chaox. And we are going to see your first blood. No, he just gets away. He dodged the shot from Vayne as he was getting out of that situation.
I thought it was just Wither.
Wow.
Wither basically just crushed her damage output. She only got 1 more attack off that way.
I didn't see any damage. He probably was Wither though. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was definitely a good escape. That was a lot of damage, of course, and that's of course what happens when you don't ward when a stunner comes to gank you. It would have been even worse if Nocturne had showed up. That would have been a definite kill. I feel like those kind of situations, you know, you're a really good team like Solomid, you should just pull the jungler up there and guarantee the kill. It seems like that's the better way to play it. Like, you know you're going to gank, you know he's available, just pull the extra resource, get that 400 gold. But good last hitting here from RainMan, picking these all up, doing a great job there, knowing how much damage that turret will do, making sure they're exactly low enough that the turret hits, takes the last hit. Turret hits, takes the last hit. So you can see, you know, despite being 1v2 getting pushed around, still 27 minions actually outlast hitting even the enemy Kennen, who's actually been just pretty much safe the entire time. So really good play by him. You see RicePanda coming around. Reginald really trying to play aggressively, trying to push them around. And, you know, OddOne has a lizard buff, and that actually might have been the enemy lizard.
It looks like Reginald may come in here from the top on Pooh Bear.
Okay.
Oh, going ahead. He's going to take Wraiths real quickly. Getting an E and a W down, doing a little bit of extra damage and spreading it out there. And it looks like they are going to want this top again. They don't have too many wards in the position of coming from the river, but they know if they do come around the backside, that's kind of a disadvantage. The top lane, you have to be a little bit more careful, but the bottom lane has it as well, so each side has to deal with that. But it's really helpful for Xpecial for his come around to a route to come around and take down RicePanda. And it makes him play very cautious. And what you're seeing right now is that he's being zoned from his CS, and that's not something you can tolerate as Nasus, and that's really one of the ways that you build up your ability.
Yep, Nasus definitely needs his gold. He does have the Philosopher's Stone now. That'll help him quite a bit. Those ranks there is going to give him a lot of health, mana regen. So if he takes some harassment, he'll be okay in the end. But without boots, he's quite chaseable. They've got to be afraid of that one. And Nocturne waiting in the wings is level 6, and they're going to go for it. Here comes the jump, the flash ult, and here comes the damage up at RicePanda. Not in great shape, level 5. Oh. Wither goes off, but certainly going to die. There's first blood picked up by TheOddOne. Great play, and that's what I was talking about. You bring the jungler, and the damage is definitely high enough that you will pick that one up.
Very nice job there. He got the pulverize down. He even waited for the headbutt, and then they waited for the condemn. You know, sometimes you'll see a team, everybody wants to stun them right up, and they don't just consecutively stun. They use them all at the perfect time. Each stun had its duration to the extent, and they were really good play on that one. As you said, just bring the jungler up, solidify the kill. They made it happen. In mid, looks like we did have some backing as well. Kennen now by himself. That's Nubbypoohbear. Looks like Reginald, as he was going around, just going back to buy. Let's see what he got. And he's just picking up some Doran's, going to give himself that mana regen as well as ability power. He must be doing some good damage because he's really not rushing anything. And everybody's just pretty happy right now. On TSM side, Cole really not out of any position. They did just lose one, but like we saw, first blood can go to anybody and still be anybody's game.
Yep. But Solomid right now up by 1,700 gold. The lane matchups actually worked quite well for them. RainMan doing a wonderful job in this 1v2, just not taking as much damage as I think Complexity wants to deal there. He's actually not even recalled yet, but has chugged through all his health potions, so he's taking some damage now. He's getting lower, and he might actually recall now that he's out of potions, and yep, there's the recall. So he will join in again later, but he's going to get a nice amount of items here. 43 minion kills, not too bad at all. And again, those gold incomes are just quite nice for TSM right now.
See, Nasus able to get his Q on, possibly 19, the highest farmer right now. 67, that's going to be in the hands of Chaox down bottom. Exactly what or top rather, it's what the AD carry should be doing. If you're an AD carry and you're not farming, you're not doing your job, or getting kills in the same aspect. So always making sure that you're in a lane with minions, whether it's sometimes the jungle's late game. You got to be farming as the AD, or you're not going to continue to do damage. Now back into lane, Chaox with Xpecial in the bush can pretty much do that quite easily without having to worry about that gank coming in. And it looks like he is back in lane. We're going to check out RainMan, and he looks like he's going straight for Yuhn here, doing a great amount of damage. Tiger attacking 3 times, proccing is at 1, 2, 3. You can just see the damage melting away from Yuhn, and still here there finally the heal from Soraka on quite a cooldown. RainMan able to put out a lot of pressure on bottom.
Yep, he's finished Wriggles. There's going to be a lot of sustain there for him. Also, he can drop that ward down. You can see he's actually not placed it yet, so he will eventually drop some wards and keep himself secure, but I guess he just feels kind of safe against this Gangplank. Gangplank is 6, and Nocturne, though, 7. Nocturne very far ahead, actually. That's going to be, you know, of course, a big advantage for them.
Yeah, that kill up top really helped. We haven't seen Dominate at all in lane, actually, from what I have seen, unless he popped down bottom. And there's the Astro coming up. Can the Slicing Maelstrom do the damage? The ultimate coming out of Gangplank, so it's almost like 3 people fighting Brand right now, and he quickly blows up Kennen with his spell chain, and it is going to be Reginald staying alive in that situation. Check out the items, does not even have any spell vamp, and he just kept himself alive there. Yeah, nice job.
Those Doran's rings gave him enough health. I mean, he lived with under 300 health, so those Doran rings gave him the power he needed to make that one happen. And now Team Solomid with that advantage to pink ward on Dragon. They're going for it. Just too strong. You can see Udyr with that Wriggles Lantern, of course, on Nocturne as well. They have a lot of damage against these neutral targets. You can see those procs happen, and that health is just melting away, and that will be the kill. The first Dragon goes to TSM, and the first 2 kills. They're up 3,000 gold now, and that is, of course, quite the nice advantage. Xpecial taking over mid as he waits for his teammate to come back into the fight.
And as you see, Xpecial doing a good job there. Like we said, if you haven't played League too much, he didn't instantly start attacking minions. He was going for the absolute last hit he could get. Now this leaves Reginald still in the middle of the lane and doesn't cause him to have to push. But Reginald doing that on his own. Very powerful right now with blue buff as we see Xpecial make his way towards top again.
Yeah, you can see Nubbypoohbear actually has picked up some magic resist. Has that cloak right there, wants to be nice and durable. Taking a little bit of damage there from Reginald. Got to be a little bit afraid of that. He's doing okay, though, killing minions off. He's staying alive. 81 minions versus 100, though. Ashe versus, oh, wow, the damage up. But again, coming in from RainMan. Hitting Yuhn pretty hard. Doing some damage, but he's going to be okay. And now Vayne Alistar pushing the top turret. And TSM can get the first turret of the game. And, you know, 12 minutes in, that's going to be a turret kill. And that is quite useful.
Yeah, it's going to be a good 150 gold going around the map, and it looks like they could take down Yuhn. Here he is, forced to flash. Nocturne comes in, grabbing that kill. Very nice job there. The RainMan coming in to help, or rather OddOne coming in to help solidify that. They're able to pick up 3 kills now to the 0, as we did see Kennen go down just a little bit ago to the hands of Reginald in mid, and they will be able to get good damage onto this turret. It looks like the minions have been expended, and they are forced to back out. ROD1 felt like he needed to take a shot, though.
Yep, and there's Chaox picking up the kill on an ass at the top of the map. Sorry I missed that, guys, but TSM kind of rampaging around the entire map, taking down turrets, taking down kills, 4-0. Still that 1 turret and 1 dragon to their advantage, and they're now pushing the bottom of the map. Poohbear wants to come in. There's the Asher onto the RainMan. They're going to go for it. There's a Gangplank ult, and it's go time. OddOne about to get dropped down. That's 1 kill. Now can they kill the RainMan? He's stuck by the turret. The turret is hitting him. He's trying to get away, but he's being slowed by Kennen. The damage output is fierce. He's low on health, and he has no one else around him.
He doesn't have enough to bear. He's just slowly walking
Asher
away.
Hits him. He is going to drop down.
No boots. Oh, no.
And there's a kill. Nice turnaround there by Complexity. They picked up 2 kills in a row. That's good coordination. Asher comes down, picks up with the Gangplank ult. A wonderful job by these guys. And now, with those 2 dead, they have a chance to counterattack here. Nasus is going to fight against 2, but oh wow, another turret. They kept pushing top, and Chaox, another turret kill. Really good job by TSM. 2 turret kills to none. And even though despite those champion kills, they're up about 5,000 gold now. 18 to 14,000.
You know, with the switch in the lanes, you can see that putting 1 versus the 2 in top and bottom, you think it would be advantageous for the other team that has the healer going against the AD carry that's 1. But you know, RainMan did such a good job at having a character that can place defense on himself, regen his own health, and stay sustainable in lane. And in top lane with somebody like Alistar instead of Soraka, who can also output damage and, as you said, displace, it's just such a more dominant lane. As you can see, Ashe and Soraka weren't even able to do that much damage. Well, they did. They almost took the bottom turret, so contradicted there. I was not correct. But they still, top lane was able to drop through both turrets already, and we're only 13 minutes into the game without a turret lost on TSM's side. As I said, that strong lane defense.
Yeah, and this is really good for TSM because now that that top lane is open, there is no turret coverage except for right here. They can kind of run through mid and kind of run through the jungle like this, and there's no real defensive location that Complexity can go. So at any time, they can kind of run in and gank Nasus if they choose to. So you can see that they have that defensive ward there. We watch the ward coverage, and yeah, they've got a ward right here watching the inlet to the jungle. They need that to keep themselves alive.
Looks like Reginald backing in mid, does have himself Sork boots. Check his creep score. He does have 113. He hasn't purchased too much. We could see a needlessly large rod here or a little bit of HP. Nope, there is the rod. He picks it up, and he is going to be doing so much damage at that point. And at this level in the game, with everybody surrounding that level 11 being either less or just a little higher, Brand is a character that can one-on-one somebody if he gets that stun and instantly drop them down to 0 HP. So very scary to have an Ashe arrow going down, and it hits.
No, it was close. It almost hit him. He barely jumped out of the way.
I heard the crush.
Yeah, Xpecial got poked around a little bit. Gonna heal himself. Got it looks like 2 ranks in that heal. Maxing out on Pulverize, and let's see what they can do with this. Picking up some minions. Looks like Vayne to go back to bottom lane. Has that black cleaver pretty early on. See if we can capitalize on that at all. Udyr now taking the top lane, just leveling up as fast as he can. Doing a pretty good job of this. Let's see what kind of combat goes on here. IWillDominate actually maxing out on Parlay. Actually only 1 point in that raise morale. It's actually opposite of what I see a lot of other players do. They'll actually max raise morale first. So a lot of different builds actually being shown off here. And there's the first turret kill of the game for Complexity. They have pushed down the bottom lane. Kennen came over to help. Gangplank was holding mid during that whole time. Reginald not quite killing Gangplank. He's going to feel okay with this. They're just pushing on through. More damage coming out from Reginald, picking down a lot of these minions, and now they're going to come through. And again, damage output onto this turret. Dominate nearby. Otto's going to block that Parlay. Nice job there. Damage output. Oh, Dominate going to get dropped down. Nice job, but Reginald is jumping in there. But Poohbear in there going to pick down Reginald. Nice play. That's a good trade. And now they can see if they can take down Nocturne. He's been withered. This is going to be really good, and the team is converging.
They are going to be able to get him inside the bush. He kind of breaks line of sight there, but there's the Ashe arrow that comes out. They do have a little bit of vision on him. Kennen can mark him up, possibly getting that stun. A beautiful shield by TheOddOne. Keeps himself alive, finally going down. Everybody is converged on this spot. Nubbypoohbear finally going down in the fight as Kennen takes down Nocturne, and we are going to see what these guys can continue to do. They are forcing the support out. Beautiful focus onto Soraka, and they were just not even worried about Ashe or Nasus that entire time. They were making sure they got the CCs down, stopping him right in front of the turret. RainMan persevering over the Ashe ultimate and continuing to battle it out. A very nice job for a 3-to-1 battle.
Yeah, really good stuff. They did get that kill on Gangplank earlier. He has revived by now, but that was amazing, amazing play by TSM. It was a good counterattack. You know, Poohbear came in there and picked up the kill on a Brand, and then they found Nocturne. They jumped Nocturne, but he stayed alive just long enough.
Get another fear off as well.
Yeah. But it was Alistar's stuns. It was the pushback from Vayne. She got another stun off there, and you can see RainMan picking down that turret there. But ultimately, Vayne and Alistar CC'd that whole team, or enough of the team for long enough that they actually managed to come back and do a lot of damage back. Ashe got low. They did pick up Soraka as well.
Now a Dragon.
And yeah, now they're going to turn back to Dragon, and Team Solomid very much in the lead now.
Yeah, great series of events for Team Solomid to occur right there. They were really able to catch him off guard, and it looks like, you know, even in their jungle, putting that ward down really assisted him in that fight. Nocturne threw that ward down as TheOddOne got as soon as he got into that fight, and that gave his team a huge upper hand as well.
Yep, 7,500 gold the lead, and that's just quite massive for these guys. That's a significant advantage right here. So
pretty much feeling pretty good about their play right now. RainMan doesn't feel too scared to be in the enemy jungle. They do have good wards, one over by that red, and one right by the Wraith camp that he just placed down, and they're doing a very good job of just covering themselves. They don't really have to worry about their own jungle because they can see everywhere that Complexity is right now. So if they're not in their own jungle, they're going to be in TSM's jungle, and they know that right off the bat.
Yep, going quite well. IWillDominate picking up blue buff again. The unfortunate thing, I mean, that's not necessarily unfortunate, but Complexity does not have a sort of a blue buff champion. None of their champions really need that golem buff, so it's just kind of going on Gangplank over and over. But you look over at Team Solomid, and they've got, there's Alistar doesn't really matter, Chaox doesn't really matter on Vayne, but that brand, Reginald on brand, blue buff is so massive on him. Cooldown reduction is huge for his damage output. You see, infinite mana can make him spam spells even harder as well, and that's actually really huge. And they can just let Nocturne give those away. Nocturne does not require Golem to jungle well, especially at this stage in the game where he's got a couple levels under his belt. That's one of the drawbacks of, say, Jungle Fiddlesticks, where you run that champion, he's super strong, but you really want to have Golem buff on at all times. He can really burn through a mana pool, and so you need to be sort of aware of what your team composition is. If you want to go sort of high level play in League of Legends, you want to be aware of the buffs on the map and who's going to utilize them. If you have two champions that need Golem buff, it's going to be a real problem for you.
Kennen's still quite squishy. Poohbear also going for the Will of the Ancients build, so it looks like most Kennens are coming up with that instead of the quick Rylas, keeping himself sustained in lane. Usually Kennen has a good amount of base HP as he starts to level up, so he can stay tanky as well as having to rush through the fight. That lightning rush is going to give him a little bit of armor and magic resistance as he's whirling around there, and he can ghost through champions as well, so that assists him there. So we'll have to see not too much mitigation from the items that TSM is building right now. They're going to definitely need some armor soon for that Vayne. That Black Cleaver is going to start shredding people in a fight if they can continue to CC as they did before.
Yep, absolutely. And we can see, wow, right away. He's
wow.
The horde clearing's not too easy for this Alistar.
Looks damage. Like down bottom, Gangplank just getting taken out almost down to about 300-400 HP. Vayne just absolutely ultimate in the bush. She rolled out of the bush, that makes her invisible, and she condemned Dominate against the wall, pretty much showing him and took him to school on how to use Vayne right there. So we're gonna have to see what's going on in mid. They're kind of gathering together a little bit, but not too much. They want to be able to get experience as well, go and spread out into the jungle. TSM isn't really, as I said, CLG was last time, dominating Complexity's jungle, so they have the XP to farm a little bit, and they are getting a little bit of farm. So they're not out of this game. TSM doesn't seem to be taking as much control as they could right now with the ward placement that they have.
Yeah, they're really not playing as bullies. I think they're just allowing themselves to keep that gold advantage. They might be waiting for the golem to respawn and give that to Brand and then use that to start fighting. They might actually just be waiting for one of these big buffs. And it has respawned now, so that you might see them take this and then go for the pushes right afterwards. Maybe they're waiting for Chaox to complete a big item, and he's got Zeal now. Maybe that's a big deal for him. Not quite sure what the plan is with that.
And Rabadons just came up. That'll be really helpful.
It might have been that as well. Finish Rabadons, finish all sorts of big items. Not quite sure what the victory condition might be.
Nasus only on 74 creep score now as we are 20 minutes into the game. That is a lot of hurt for Nasus, as like I said before, his Q pretty stacks off that ability as he continues to kill minions with it. And if you don't have a Nasus that can do damage, he's pretty much going to act as your tank in the game. And right now, they need a lot of damage dealers.
They really do need some more damage. Nasus will be able to do a little bit of beast mode. There's Reginald picking up the golem buff. It's going to be nice for him. RicePanda, we're going to watch him at the top of the map, has Sheen. And he has plus 168 on his siphoning strike, so he's going to hit pretty hard. You're going to see the base damage there, 110 plus 170, so that's 280 plus his base damage, and he's got the Sheen in there as well for another 90, so that's going to hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
He's going to do some good damage up here. Not a lot of armor stack on this team. Only TheRainMan really has anything with that chain vest. TheOddOne has a little bit as well. But we'll see if he can pick down Chaox. He's got no cleanse, he's got no Quicksilver Sash, so max rank Wither can do a whole lot here. RicePanda's got looks like 5 in Siphoning Strike, 5 in Wither, so that could really shut down Vayne.
Another really good thing to point out here about this TSM lineup is they have such a good pushing team. Alistar's base damage, one of the highest in the games, to take out those turrets. Vayne right there to just spit bolts, I should say, right into the turret, and as well as Brand to just clear these minion waves. So whenever the waves come up, they don't even have to wait. It's just instant, and they're able to push really fast. So that is also giving them a big advantage in this game because they can take a turret and be right out of there before they feel any dangers coming.
Yep, absolutely. So let's look at the map control of both teams. Solomid, nothing really aggressive in the wards. They do have to worry about that Soraka with the Oracle's Elixir. You can see, actually, even worse vision, though, for Complexity. They have a couple of defensive wards, but nothing really massive. But, they have found Vayne, and there is the burst damage. She is getting caught. Nocturne's coming in. Chaox might drop down. There's the ult from Kennen. They will pick up Chaox, and here comes the team fight. Shales in the middle of everything. Soraka going down. Has dropped Wish. Might drop down to Udyr, and the team is in. The damage is going off everywhere. There's the Brand ult. It's going to hurt bad onto Kennen. Kennen might fall to that burning damage. He's going to be low. 17 health. He will fall, but here's the rest of the team coming in now. Reginald taking a little bit of damage. They're going to back off away from Udyr. Udyr has found RicePanda. RicePanda going to get not quite get stunned. And IWillDominate putting the damage off onto Nocturne. TheOddOne low as well. They're actually very, very low on health, and Reginald's really the only one who has the ability to really push through. TheRainMan as well, but they got one kill. They killed Chaox, but the team came back and picked up the 2 squishies there. Yuhn has actually stayed alive quite successfully. but no one else is there to really stop them. You can see they cleared down a ward, and they're just going to push on through some more. Great job by TSM jumping in there, doing everything they could. OddOne managed to jump in and do a lot for it. He actually just stuck onto Soraka, and Soraka did fall. She does need a little bit more durability, only a little bit of health on her. Might go for Aegis next. That'll be a pretty big deal. Chaox back at the bottom of the map. Not a lot of sustain on her on that Vayne. Does just have the Black Cleaver, no Bloodthirster, so we'll see if that ends up being a problem.
Indeed, I was thinking about that before. I almost asked you about it. You know, the Black Cleaver, it can output a lot of damage, but she's already going for that seal. And like you said, no Bloodthirster. The damage isn't going to stack at any point right now, so she's going to be stuck there. Do you think Ashe could build over that within a matter of minutes as we come into this match?
Oh, let's look at the gold incomes actually. So we look down, and Ashe has 6,400. Vayne's at 78, so that's only 1,000 gold. It's not too, you know, it's only like 1,200 gold for a single champion. It's not terrible, especially if Vayne has to invest in like a Quicksilver Sash that'll drop her damage output by quite a bit. Already Vayne does outscale Ashe. We look at Ashe's build, and actually, yeah, Ashe went Mercury Treads instead of Berserker's Greaves, has only the Infinity Edge, so Vayne is very much ahead in her build. Vayne does scale quite a bit off of attack speed, actually. That W, her Silver Bolts, will do a lot of damage if you get the attack speed in there to really sort of pin targets down and just keep triggering that damage bonus. So by getting, you know, Berserker's Greaves, Zeal, Black Cleaver, her attack speed is really high. It's 1.5 attacks per second. If you look at Ashe only at 0.9, so her damage output is significantly higher. And that can actually mean a lot.
And actually, we can see Chaox grabbing that red buff, as we said before, that adds some damage onto your attack, as well as a slight burn effect, which can actually take that champion out as he gets out of range. If you've taken him down to a sliver of health, you can just thank your red buff for taking that out. And it also slows the enemy champion. So on Vayne, that is so complementary to her passive, which is to run faster if she is chasing an opponent, or facing an opponent, rather. So Vayne in a very good position right now, as we have said. We're going to see what Chaox can do to continue to help his team and lead on to win these fights. There's just so much damage in AoE that they have in a fight, especially with Brand there, everybody getting pulverized up. And usually when you see the Brand ulti go off, you'll see everybody start to spread out. It'll bounce up to 5 times, and if that continues to bounce through you, it just does so much damage. It doesn't increase, but the damage is just huge. Brand is one of those characters you not want to get hit any of his spells by. So, like I said, TSM's team really doing great. The composition is working out for them, and everything that they're doing is really kind of, if you would say the cookies crumbled, it's crumbling in their favor in these fights, and they're really coming out on top. So Complexity, again, needs to find somebody off guard and make sure they can get those attacks down. They do have the Ashe Arrow, the Kennen ult, and the Gangplank ult, so they can put out a lot of damage right away and get that burst. We'll have to see if they can do it.
Yeah, and we can see sort of teams on both sides. Team Solomid playing a little bit of defensively here. Udo's up towards the top, the other 4 right by themselves. Complexity after the right-hand side, again, also sort of playing defensively in their jungle. And there we go, Solomid. Oh, they're going to push in for Baron. They've been hawkshotted, but they're going for it. It's going to be really, really dangerous. You can see Solomid does see them underway. They do see that they're nearby. Complexity actually does not see them anymore, so they have to be very afraid of what happens here. But TSM did pull back. I don't know if Complexity has that information. Now they've gotten that. The ward goes down. TSM will clear the ward out. They do, again, see where the enemy team is. That ward will drop. Poohbear going to try to walk around and poke. Ashe put some damage out on that turret, but she's got to be careful. She might get caught by Nocturne, and there it is. Hopefully she got a good bait there. She's been caught by the fear,
oh, wow.
And Yuhn is so incredibly dead right now.
That was such a good range. She gets the ulti out, but the Dustbringer will come out from Nocturne. He will be able to run quicker. No, gets the extra fear on, and you cannot flash away from that one. As we follow the fight in the middle now, Yuhn goes down, and they will be going under the turret. The ultimate from Alistar comes out. That is a huge reduction in damage that he is taking, but it is not going to be enough. He was stuck under the turret without any minions, and the turret will ramp up in damage every shot that you take from it, and that took him down. A good job there, but they were also able to keep everybody off of Ashe, and taking down Alistar, not too amazing. They are going to get money out of it, but Ashe, a good one to have go down for the team, because that is their damage, and that is going to allow them to right now do Baron.
They do know where they are. Brand does have his ultimate still. RicePanda's going to put that Wither down, and there's the Brand ult. It's going to hit nothing. Only just the one shot on the RicePanda, so they could really go for this.
Yeah.
They don't have many ults up, but they could go for a fight. They might actually have to here. Oh, it's about to drop down. Can they get there in time? Looks like no, they're going to take down the kill. Reginald about to die. Can RicePanda get it? He's one hit away. No, Reginald's still not dead. Shales getting caught now. Shales going to drop as well. Kennen not able to pick up that kill. He's going to recall back, but Reginald, oh, and Chaox have found you. Got to run away.
Wow.
And he's now stuck between 2 enemy turrets. I don't think he can burst Chaox hard enough. And, oh, you've been caught.
Wow, he just got ping-ponged back and forth, getting hit by that one. A very nice job as they pursued Kennen on that. They were able to take him out. And Nubbypoohbear will be forced to respawn now. They are going to go ahead and push their lanes. Dominant going bottom, and Ashe trying to get top as she is back into the game. She spawned during that Baron fight, but her ultimate had like another 30 seconds on it. It would have been so helpful for a giant Astro to come in there and stun. Pretty much it would have been all of them for the slow and stun the initial hit, but
yeah,
that really would have helped them in that fight, and I think a few more of them could have got away.
That would have been quite useful indeed. You can see Vayne still pushing on through, doing a lot of damage to these minions, picking them up, getting some nice gold gains. She will probably go... actually, I don't think she's bought yet, but she has almost definitely enough money for a Quicksilver Sash now. That will help a lot against that Nasus, that Wither, of course. Extremely potent here. He has Trinity Force, no other items though, but that's kind of all he needs to crush faces. We're going to see they're going to keep pushing on through. TSM. Xpecial did revive in time to take on that Baron buff. And we'll see if they can do much against this turret. It will go down most likely. They want to see what else they can do here.
Yeah, sometimes you got to give one up. You know it's an unsure feeling. It happens. The other team's going to get money, but you are also trying to fight back at the same time as well. So a possible Dragon will clear that up. They did just get Baron, so that's a huge buff for them as well as a gold increase. We are at 45,800 gold to 34,300 for complexity. Quite a difference there by 11,000 gold. And they just actually hit 46,000, so we'll have to see if they can continue that rampage just on the gold gain. They are gathering here at the Wolves, and they do have a ward in that bush. I don't see an Oracle's around yet. I know Alistar had one, but he did go down in the fight, so he doesn't have one right now. That's kind of where TSM may falter. They have a lot of control, but if they are caught off guard, it's really, I'm going to say it over and over again, that's obviously how they're going to get attacked, but it really is the way it needs to happen for them right now.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do with this. Again, this turret's going to fall down. Great job by Solomid. They do know they have control of the map. This is what you want to do, right? When you have control like this, you take down all those outer turrets, you give yourself a big, solid advantage so that, you know, if you ever win a team fight later, you can take the base down. You get all that global golden experience for your team by taking these turrets, Dragon, Baron, all that. And so they've built themselves quite the advantage. And there's an Astro that's going to tag Xpecial. Not the best target.
Yeah, they aren't going to initiate on that. Unfortunate. And a thing that, you know, scary about Complexity's build right now is Gangplank is going to be able to put out output that much damage. He's only got the Warmogs. Obviously, Parlay is going to crit a bit, but really, he's not someone that's going to be doing a lot of damage, and Ashe needs to get in there in the fight. So it's going to be a very close-up fight for Complexity here, and you can see them not wanting to leave this turret whatsoever.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out on all sides. Reginald still staying around, has that Void Staff up as well. The spam from Ashe is good. Kennen can do the same things. They're pretty good at defending this turret. Alistar will be able to get about 2 heals per minion wave. Has a bunch of cooldown reduction as well. There's some more spam. Nubbypoohbear is in there. He's going to pop the ultimate. He gets pushed back by Alistar. Great move there as well.
Oh, wow.
A good ult from Brand. Chaox going to pick down into RicePanda. There's the ult from Gangplank, but it's not going to be enough. They're running away. RainMan diving around, getting hit a little bit by Ashe, but it looks like he's going to be okay. Nocturne in the fray. They're up now onto the inhibitor, and they've already killed 2 champions. Gangplank and Nasus have fallen. They're going to turn off to the side. They have enough armor to tank this turret. Look at that. OddOne just in the front, taking some heals. He's going to be okay right now. And here is Nubbypoohbear off to the side. A little bit of hope coming out, but not doing a whole lot for it. They picked down 1 turret. Another one about to fall down as Alistar sort of leads the way, tanking all the damage. And they're going to pick down 2 inhibitors now. And they've still only lost 1 turret so far. So TSM in a great lead right now.
Yeah, a really good fight there. It kind of worked in the way of opposite of the way you thought it would have. You know, Kennen ulti coming in, that's going to kind of deter the team of Solomid from coming in and trying to do something. But really, they saw that as, that's a huge cooldown wasted. I think we should initiate on that. And Nocturne was right into the fight. So, you know, OddOne initiating on some awesome fights right now, understanding the flow of the game, that Kennen used his ulti. The rest of the team has a free reign to run. That's a stun for the entire team. And Solomid just waited outside, slicing Maelstrom. Came in right after. It was a really good fight. They were able to get an inhibitor out of it and another turret and inhibitor. So great fight there. As you said, you know, if you have control, just keep solidifying that control and take out more turrets. Yep,
Vayne pushing on through has finished her Quicksilver Sash this time around. It has actually finished the Bloodthirster as well, so she is pretty much into prime full damage output mode right here. Is going to be very, very safe with the QSS. Going to drop out Wither and things like that and just chunking down minions. You can see the Bloodthirster getting some stacks right there, up to 4. As she kills minions, it will start getting beefier and beefier, give her more damage, more lifesteal. Then she's got only 1 more item to grab, and that's going to be either Trinity Force or Trinity Force or Infinity Edge, the 2 main choices here. You can see she's building up some gold. Not super rich just yet, just 430, but Reginald going to grab that golem buff. Really, really powerful for him. Going to use that to his advantage. The Q goes off, and he's going to be happy. Going for, it looks like Riley's Crystal Scepter next. That big health item, that Giant's Belt, going to be used to build that item.
It looks like Ash and both Pooh Bear are like, yeah, there's minions up here, but we can kind of farm them. There's not many. Ash actually stepping out quite far. You can see they almost took advantage of that right away. They're just creeping on the position right now. And they're like, I think you should pull back Yuhn, and he agrees. Yuhn now back at his turret. It pretty much Complexity staying inside their base right now. We even saw what happened when they initiated under a turret. It really didn't go well for them, especially with the Baron buff. They have a little bit better of a chance now. The sustain of TSM does not have the buff, that health increase, that mana increase, and the damage. So they have a little bit better chance to fight in this one, but they have to make sure they use their cooldowns exactly right. Because if Vayne gets loose or Brand gets loose to do their spell chain again, that is going to be damage that they do not need to deal with.
That's true. That's a lot of damage if they get it. So, I mean, the main target is, of course, Vayne. Brand can die after 5 seconds and be okay because he can burst his initial spell combo. Of course, with all this cooldown reduction, he wants to stay alive and keep doing damage. We'll kind of see how this plays out. Oddon's up in the front. There's the Gangplank ult. They're going to try to force them back, but again, they've blown one ultimate so far, right? They jumped in, they made Gangplank ult, and they backed out. They're like, okay, that's fine. It's a cooldown. We'll go again later. Next wave, they're going to go again. And the Xpecial is healing. You can see that health come back up so incredibly quickly. 2 heals coming out right there. So much cooldown reduction on that Alistar. You see that heal, just only a 7.5 second cooldown. You get that, quite a couple of times per wave. Look at that. They're full health. No Gangplank ultimate. Let's go again.
Yeah, Ken's not going to be able to do much here. This turret will go down by the sheer amount of damage, even if they want to rebuttal on this, but they will not. And it looks like going straight for Soraka, going to keep her out of that one. Fearing onto Nubbypoohbear, and he does try to get feared in lightning form. And it looks like a big fight right by the turret. Slicing Maelstrom comes out, and he gets absolutely focused. He could have sashed out of that one, but I do not believe he has one as I stare at the score screen for cash money. And we are going to see Reginald, Chaox taking out that inhibitor, and they are going to be quickly going for these turrets right here. I don't know how much defense they can put up onto this. It does look like Nasus goes down there. The super minions are doing a lot of damage to these turrets. The left turret falling to TSM, the right turret falling to super minions, and it looks like they will have free reign over destroying the Nexus here in game 1. The best out of 3 between Complexity and Team Solomid.
Yeah, Team Solomid taking the first game against Complexity right here. Great job taking that one over. Just wonderful play by pretty much everyone on that team. That was just an overall, a great team performance. I'm gonna, go back to the earlier games we had today. We had, CLG, that first blood away onto Big Fat LP that first time around, but the rest of them, really holding it up, playing a great team play game. But this time around, the individual performances for all the players were so great for Solomid. TheRainMan managed to survive the 1v2 quite successfully, actually became one of the most farmed players on his team, second only to Vayne, who was just pretty much just solo topping and never really getting stopped. Nasus actually had a really bad time against Vayne plus Alistar, and I actually remember looking at the minion kills at about 8 minutes in or something like that, and Udyr actually had like 23 minions, which wasn't too bad, and then Nasus had 3. And it was like, oh, so he's like 8 times as many minion kills. That seems like a good, boost in power right there because, fighting as Udyr with a bunch of health potions with that turtle stance, Ash and Soraka can poke, but they don't do too terribly much damage. But Nasus was like, well, I'm just going to wait.
Do you think it would have been Udyr top still if it wasn't a Nasus? Do you think they countered that Nasus with the double top?
I think they honestly, maybe. I'm not really sure. I think once they saw, oh, bottom lane can't touch us, like they didn't pick Udyr and go like, he's going to solo bottom and we're going to roam. It was like,
because that Nasus pick was last for Complexity.
Yeah, it was the Nasus, and it was like, Soraka Ash can't touch that. So Udyr's like, well, dude, I can just solo bot, like it's chill, like I'll be fine. You guys just zone him out and, whatever. So certainly I think it was both sides. It was Udyr would live that lane and Nasus would get screwed. And you add those together and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to roam Alistar. It's cool. All right, so we're going to kick over to a commercial break and some promos. We're going to be back with Game 2, so stay tuned.